All right, you guys, class is now in session. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down and explaining to you guys overall why binge eating and overall binging in general is really, really bad for you and ultimately not going to be helpful for you, especially if you're trying to lose weight and build some lean muscle and have an overall aesthetic physique. Binging and overall binge eating is not going to be helpful and ultimately is going to be what's going to prevent you and stop you from seeing any progress in the gym or in general in life. So please, guys, take out your pen, your notebook, and your paper and take some notes because I'm going to break down why you could be binge eating and not even knowing it, and how that can ultimately be what's going to be preventing you from losing weight and overall just being the best version of yourself, guys, because it's really important to understand that it's important to be the best version of yourself, guys, because we only have one life. So it's important to maximize that one life that God's given us. So yeah, without further ado, like I said, get out your notebook, pen, and paper. Let's get right into it. Now, the first thing, guys, I'm going to talk about that I feel like is what's killing a lot of people, and it might be crazy, but I just feel like I just noticed it from a third party's perspective as to why people are just binge eating and not even like fully grasping how they're binge eating is because of this number one reason. Awareness, guys. A lot of people, guys, believe it or not, this may sound crazy, but a lot of people are not even aware. I'm not even sure if you guys can see that, but a lot of people are not even fully aware of what they're eating on a day-to-day basis. I have a lot of coworkers at my job specifically who are trying to lose weight. They see me having meal prep and all that stuff, and they're questioning, hey, how do I lose weight? How do I lose weight? Simply, guys, nutrition is going to be, oh my God, okay. Number one key reason why most people are not losing weight and they're just binging and eating a whole bunch of BS is because they're not fully aware of what they're eating on a day-to-day basis. Guys, it is very, very important, especially if you're serious about losing weight, to be fully aware of what you're eating on a day-to-day basis. Because I know a lot of people in general, they just tend to eat subconsciously and not understand what they're eating on a day-to-day basis. So as a result, they'll just go to the grocery store, go to the gas station, pick up some junk food, not realizing how much calories are in these foods, and they'll start consuming it. Without knowing it, they can easily overconsume and overeat their calorie limit that they're supposed to eat on a day-to-day basis to lose weight. And guys, this is really, really important. You have to be fully aware of what you're eating. I feel like, guys, if there was like a sign where like every time you're about to pick out a food, the calories would literally pop up like in like holographic form telling you, hey, this Pop-Tart has about 330 calories. And if you eat two of this, because I know a lot of people, they like to overeat. So people take like 2-3 Pop-Tarts, they'll go to the vending machine. Basically, anything convenient, if there was a calorie that just popped up in a holographic form to let you know, hey, you're about to consume this amount of calories if you buy this junk food and eat this. I feel like that'll help a lot of people really just fully have awareness as to what they're eating. Because like I said, guys, I feel like most people are zombie eating. So if you don't know what a zombie eater is, that's just somebody who just subconsciously wakes up and eats a whole bunch of food that they see in sight. If they see a nice snack on the table, they'll just eat it. If a coworker brings some donuts from work, they'll eat that donut, eat 1 or 2 donuts on top of their lunch they may have brought, or they might even go out to eat to lunch. So that right there could ultimately add up some calories. You guys don't even know that. So it's really important, guys, to fully know what you're eating and having a full awareness as to the calories you're consuming on a day-to-day basis. Simply understanding your calorie, guys, and knowing what you're eating on a day-to-day basis can really help you set you up for success and really help you map out and game plan what you want to be eating consistently to really lose weight. Because I feel like most people, and like I said, this was me at one point when I was starting out my fitness journey. That was kind of what made me blow up to over 300 plus pounds, is because I was just always eating and subconsciously eating a whole bunch of food, thinking that if I eat this in moderation, it'll still be healthy. No, because whatever you're eating in moderation is not really technically going to be moderation, because most people, they don't know how to eat in moderation, especially junk food, because you can very, very easily overeat junk food. Because what you guys don't know, a lot of junk foods, you can eat a whole bunch of it and still be hungry at the end of it because it's not really satiating and not really filling. So it's really, really important, guys, to know what you're eating on a day-to-day basis and fully understand why you're eating what you're eating and just breaking it down so you know what you're eating. Because if you guys don't track what you're eating, it's going to be hard for you to really just grasp the overall concept of losing weight and putting the right foods in your body to consume on a day-to-day basis. Because I read a crazy stat, guys. This is crazy. I can't even like be too surprised, but I read a stat that the average man, this is just for men, the average man in the United States only needs about 2,500 calories to maintain their current body weight, because you know the average man is like 5'8". So the average man only needs about 2,500 calories to just simply maintain their weight. A lot of men, especially in the US, are eating 3,000 plus calories. And I know I know for a fact it's over 3,000 calories that most men in the United States are eating on a day-to-day basis. And that is why, guys, the obesity rate is actually insane in the United States, is because a lot of people are just overeating the amount of calories their body needs to not even just maintain, to lose weight. So if you need to lose weight, they're obviously going to need to be eating less than 2,500 calories. But most people in the United States are just subconsciously eating 3,000 plus calories daily. And doing that on a day-to-day basis, you're just going to be adding weight to your body subconsciously. So like I said, most people lack awareness as to what they're putting in their body on a day-to-day basis because they just like what's convenient. So like I said, I work a 9-to-5 job and I work in construction. A lot of my coworkers like to go out to eat every single day for lunch. I, on the other hand, I always pack my lunch. They always bring donuts. All the people bring donuts, all these junk foods. I have to say no because I know this one donut has about like maybe 200, 300 calories, and that'll throw off that 300 calorie donut will literally throw off my entire day of eating. So that's why it's important, guys, to really track your foods and just being aware and conscious as to what you're eating, because a lot of people like to just subconsciously eat food and not know what they're putting in their body, and that's ultimately what's going to make you fat and make you bingy and just think that fitness is not a real thing, because people think that fitness is a scam and that you can't get fit because people think that, I even thought this at one point, that being lean and fit is just a genetic thing, and that if your whole family is fat, then that means you're going to be destined to be fat. No, God, that is not the case. You just have to be more aware of what you're eating on a day-to-day basis, and that'll help you set you up for success. Now, guys, the second thing that I feel like is killing a lot of people and just overall a key factor is as to what is keeping people big and overweight and allowing them to binge eat and binge eat and binge eat. I can't even say it correctly, but you know what I mean. The key thing, guys, that's keeping people big and fat, in my opinion, the number 2 reason is this, guys: boredom. I don't know if you guys can see this, guys, but simply put, boredom. A lot of people, guys, are basically, if I had to put it in a nutshell, they're bored. So if you guys don't know this, I'm pretty sure you guys know this. Deep down, you know this is one of you. You're just bored. And that was me at one point. And I can really go into depth of all these points because this was me at one point. I can really relate to this because I was definitely, all these points I'm going to mention to you guys. All these points I'm going to mention at one point in my life, they were part of me as to why I was binge eating and why I was binge eating and overeating was because boredom, guys. So a lot of people, guys, they just like to a lot of people overeat because they're bored. It kind of goes off my first point of awareness, guys, but a lot of people, especially in the United States that I've noticed, they're just bored. And when you're bored, you just turn to some type of avenue to release your boredom. And what the immediate thing that most people turn to is food. So I don't know why people do this. I did it because, I guess, like I was saying, I couldn't really explain it to you, but I want to just let you guys know this, that a lot of people in the United States are overeating and binging because they're simply bored and have nothing else to do. Their brains are not preoccupied with something else. Even the guys who are working. So let's say you're not working. If you're not even working, forget about it. You're going to be fat super quick. If I had to take a poll of unemployed people, let's just say unemployed men who live with their parents, I can bet you 80% of those men are big and overweight, guaranteed, because they're bored in the house. They have nothing else to do. So literally all they'll do is play video games and eat food, and they'll have no motivation to do anything else. So I know that for a fact without even looking that up, that if I had to pick a stat on that, that'll be the stat. But guys, I feel like most people are simply bored and do not have any occupations, especially those who work a 9-to-5, and they simply feel like, okay, after my 9-to-5, I go home, relax, watch a football game, and sleep. No, guys, I feel like you need to have some type of activity that you're doing outside of your 9-to-5, whether that's like a yoga class, a boxing class, something. For me, guys, it's simply just going to the gym after my 9-to-5 job, and if I have extra time on top of that, I go to some boxing classes. So for me, guys, I'm up at 5 a.m. every morning. I don't get back to the house until like 9, 10 p.m. every single night. Okay, let me be realistic. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock is when I get home. So I'm pretty much out the majority of the day. So it's really, really important, guys, to simply preoccupy your brain and your whole body with something else to keep your mind and just keep you from thinking about food. Because I feel like that is what's holding a lot of people back, is simply being bored and just not having something to do to preoccupy their brain while they're doing their day-to-day activities, guys. Because like I said, the people who are who are watching this video, you may be one of those people who just go to work, do your 9-to-5, come home, like I said, watch the game, do some activity, just do something in the house. When you're done, your 9-to-5, you still got like 3-4 hours before you go to sleep, I would assume. So within those 3 hours, people tend to binge eat, DoorDash some food. So what I feel like most people are doing, they're just DoorDashing, trying to do something that's convenient for them. So it's really, really important, guys, to just making sure you're not being bored. And the best way, in my opinion, to alleviate that boredom is to find some activity you're doing. If you're working, find an activity that you're doing outside of your 9 to 5 job. And if you're not working, I don't know what to tell you. You need to find something to be doing at least 8 to 10 hours throughout the day. Find something to do, but obviously find a job. That's like number one key thing. So like I said, it's really, really important to try to alleviate that boredom. So you're not thinking about food all the time. So the only time you should be eating is literally when you're hungry and when you're having your meals. So outside of that, guys, you need to be doing something, doing some activity, because God gave us this body for a reason. We're all blessed with a healthy, hopefully healthy, able body. And I think, in my opinion, it'll be a shame not to use this body to our fullest maximum potential if all we're doing is literally clocking in, clocking out, going home, sleeping, and just maybe eating some food on the side. I feel like God gave us a purpose to use our body, our physical body, to its full physical capacity. So that's why it's important to do some type of physical activity, in my opinion, to do some physical activity outside of your 9 to 5 job to keep your mind preoccupied outside of work. And then when you're done your work, you go to the gym, do some activities, come home. Then you can, when you get home, usually you should be home around like 8 or 9 o'clock, which is, like I said, which is when I would get home. Get home, take a shower, eat dinner, sleep, repeat the cycle. And then just keep doing that, guys, because like I said, most people are bored. And when you're bored, your mind will just wander. And then usually your mind will tend to just wander to the simplest and easiest fix. And for most people, it's food. Others, it may be drugs, but like I said, it's not a drug video. So that's a whole different story for you guys who are like on drugs. But specifically for guys who like to binge eat, you need to kill the binge eating, because the boredom is what's holding you back from stopping your binge eating tendency. So please, guys, understand that the main reason why you may be fat and you may be binge eating subconsciously is because you're bored and you have no activities or no occupations outside of your 9 to 5 job, which you need to fix that up. All right, you guys. Now, the third key reason why I feel like most people are binging and overeating and just messing up the progress and not seeing any progress in the gym and in their weight loss goal, in the weight loss journey, is because of this. I'm not sure if you guys can see this, guys, but this may trigger some people. Depression. Whew. I don't want to get too deep into this. I don't even know if I spelled this correctly, but okay, guys, I'm gonna say this. Depression is very, very real, I would say. It's all real in the mind. I don't want to go too deep as into the depression, because like I said, there was a one point in my life where I was really, really in a dark point of my life, and ultimately I had to climb myself out of that point. So that's what you got to realize, guys, is depression is all mental, and you're the only person, I feel like, that can really climb yourself out of that mental hole. But now, connecting this to binging, I feel like most people binge eat and just tend to turn to food as a coping mechanism. So when people have anxiety or are depressed, they turn to food to help alleviate that temporary stress or depression that they may be facing. Guys, depression and eating food, they don't correlate, in my opinion. So you don't want to use you do not want to use food and binge eating as your coping mechanism for your depression, because after you're done binge eating and eating all the BS foods, you're still going to be in that same situation if you think about it. So all that extra eating, the junk food, the anxiety you're facing, yes, that may be real, all that depression and anxiety, but turning to food is not going to be the answer. In my opinion, the only key answer, guys, is turning all that anger and frustration and that depression and that anxiety into something physical. You want to release that physical pressure. So in my opinion, the only way to do that is by going to the gym, doing some type of yoga class, doing some type of physical activity, guys. Ultimately, guys, like I said, for me, I'm going to always relate it back to a physical activity, because when you're doing something physical, you're training your body, and when you're training your body, you're preoccupying your mind. So that's why it's important, guys. If you're feeling depressed, trust me, I know how you feel. I've been there. I was super depressed during the COVID times, had nothing to do. I was in my house all day, had no future, had no direction, and I was just turning to food. And when I was realizing I was eating all this junk food, getting bigger and bigger, my parents would start to disrespect me. My siblings were starting to make fun of me, starting to see how fat I was getting. Mind you, my parents are not the fittest. So coming from my parents who are ultimately big as well, having them shame me for being big was just crazy, but it was something that I had to absorb. And ultimately, I had to wake up and realize me eating all this extra BS food and turning to food as a coping mechanism is not the answer and was not going to be the solution to my problems. So please understand that eating and being depressed, they do not correlate. So if you're eating too much food, thinking that's going to help you solve your depression, you're sadly mistaken. And I'm going to break it to you straight up. Being depressed, I agree with you. Depression is a real thing, and I really, really hope you guys get through it. And I'm here to help you guys any way I can to support you, because I feel like everybody who gone through it can definitely get out of this rut, out of this down period. So if you're really feeling low and you're turning to food, just I want to tell you this right now: food is not going to be the answer as far as losing weight. As far as like, food is not going to be the answer to your solution in your depression. It's ultimately going to be doing some type of activity, just getting your mind off the activity, and maybe if it's something you know you can change, trying to actively change your situation. That's the only way you're going to be able to physically get out of that emotional depression or any anxiety you're facing. It's not going to be through food. So please, guys, understand that. And I hope you really understand that. I'm not trying to be harsh, but it's the reality. Now, another reason why I feel like most people are binge eating, and this one is definitely going to be another home run hitter, is overall the fear of missing out / discipline, lack of discipline. So now my fourth reason, guys, I'm not sure if you guys can see this, is FOMO, fear of missing out / discipline. So guys, this one, another one that was holding me back, especially in my early fitness journey days. So what I mean by fearing missing out is a lot of people, they feel like if they dedicate at least 3 to 6 months, because in my opinion, anybody could change their physical situation if they lock in for 3 to 6 months. Anybody, no matter how big you are, it only takes 3 to 6 months of consistent locking in, no breaks, no cheat days. But most people, they don't have the support and really the mindset to do that. So that's why it takes them years. But if you can lock in for 3 to 6 months without eating without eating any junk food, locking in on your nutrition, doing the right things, doing the things you're supposed to, you will see drastic differences. I can guarantee you that. But to this point of fear of missing out and discipline, most people, I feel like they don't understand that the foods, all these junk foods and all these excess sugars and fats and all these fast food spots, they will always be there. But I feel like most people, they don't have the discipline to give up junk food for at least 3 to 6 months. People think that if I don't eat this crumble cookie for the week, it'll be gone. Guys, crumble cookie is always going to be there. First of all, that's a whole different point. I don't see the hybrid crumble cookie. Those cookies are not even the best, but I digress. But I feel like most people's mindsets are, I can't give up my favorite junk food because it's only going to be here for a limited time. What does that mean? For me, guys, the way I see it, I love Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A has always been around even before I was born, I think. So for me, I would tell myself, if I can just give up Chick-fil-A for 3 to 6 months, 6 months from now, Chick-fil-A is still going to be there. So I don't know why most people, they don't think of it that way. They just think of like the here and now. They think I can't not go 2 weeks without eating Chick-fil-A. I can't go 2 weeks without eating fried chicken, or I can't go 2 weeks without going to crumble cookie, or I can't go 2 weeks without eating this Pop-Tart or whatever it is. Pop-Tarts has been around, I feel like, since most people have been alive. So I don't even know when Pop-Tart first got originated, but Pop-Tarts, all these chips, Doritos, all these extra junk foods, which you shouldn't be eating anyways, even after you're done your finishing, you should only be eating in moderation. But let's say you're one of those guys, one of those gals who loves chips, Doritos chips. If you can give up Doritos chips for 3 to 6 months, do you still think it'll be there? So right now we're in September. By, let's say, February of 2026, do you think Doritos are going to be extinct? No, they're still going to be there. So I feel like most people, they don't have the right mindset and the right discipline of simply giving up junk food and all these extra food that they know is not good for them for 3 to 6 months, just to have a better future for themselves and a better healthy lifestyle. Guys, it's really important to give up the foods you really enjoy, that you know is killing you and you know is preventing you from getting to your goals, for at least 3 to 6 months. Because if you can do that, guys, trust me, you will see a significant difference. If all you do is think of FOMO, if your whole mindset is fear of missing out, and you can't not give up this special food because you know it's so good and you're going to crave it, guys, I don't know what to tell you. Give it up, because if you want to get to your goals, you have to make sacrifice. You need to make sacrifices in life. I know you're making sacrifices in other areas of your life. Why not make that sacrifice in your fitness journey? It's ultimately for yourself. My last point as to why most people are just overweight and just have no self-control when it comes to binge eating, guys, is just overall their environment. A lot of people, they make it harder than it needs to be. And that was me at one point. I was making this fitness journey and this overall weight loss journey super hard for me. And it doesn't have to be hard. And what I mean by hard, guys, especially when I'm talking about the environment, if you simply surround yourself with foods that's healthy and it'll help you get to your goals, trust me, you'll get to your goals faster because you will have no urges or any tendencies or temptations to eat that Pop-Tart, to eat that extra cookies in the fridge, wherever you keep your junk foods in the pantry. If you simply remove the friction to get to those junk foods, that'll help you solve like 90% of your problems as far as the nutrition side. I feel like most people, they're making this super hard on themselves by, let's say they're buying healthy foods, but they'll buy like a couple snacks here or there, and then they'll keep it in the pantry, and then a week goes by, they'll be super hungry, and then boom, it's right there in the pantry. They'll go in and take that pantry snack, eat it up and gobble it up, and then boom, they'll feel depressed the next day. But guys, simply understanding your environment can help set you up for success. Not even at home, at work too. This is very key for me because my environment never changes. Because like I said, when I go to work, I always pack my food. I pack my breakfast and lunch, and only thing I eat at home is my dinner. So like I said, when I'm at work, guys, my coworkers, they like to go out to eat out at lunch. They like to bring in donuts. They like to bring in pizza, cater pizza, all this extra BS food. I know I can't eat this, especially now. I'm sacrificing this junk food and all this stuff now because 6 months from now, I know I can eat this stuff, but for now, I cannot eat this stuff. So to help me alleviate this pressure, I have to switch up my environment by surrounding myself with my own foods. And when I bring my lunch to work, I know I'm not going to have any friction because my lunch is right there. Now, if I had no lunch to go to work, that'll be tough because I'll be starving at work and I'll have no choice but to eat that pizza or eat whatever my coworkers are bringing to lunch. So that's why it's important, guys, to just help set yourself up for success. It's important to control what you can control around you. So that means going to lunch, having your own meal prep, packing your breakfast, your lunch, whatever you need to pack. So when you go to work, there's no temptation to go to that vending machine, grab that snack you know you're not supposed to eat, go out to lunch with your coworkers to that one restaurant that you know you're not supposed to be going to because you have goals in mind. So in conclusion, guys, that's why it's very important to make sure you're really aware of your environment and making sure you're setting yourself up for success. And what I mean by environment, that's what it comes down to, making sure you're surrounding yourself with the right foods, making sure you're not tempting yourself into eating junk foods when you're at work. You're surrounding yourself with your proper meal preps, making sure you're bringing your food to work so you're not eating the wrong things and being tempted by your coworkers or people at your job to eat a bunch of BS and junk food and being tempted to eat the vending machine foods and snacks that you're not supposed to. So overall, guys, your environment, lastly, is going to be my last key point for you guys to really understand and to really help you crave and to help you overall to really help you guys overall end and completely destroy your need to have to overeat and binge on certain foods that you know you're not supposed to be eating. So hopefully you guys learned something from this video, man. I'll see you in the next one.